So I'm Johnny Pluckman of AlternativeControlCT.com. I'm here again at the Gramercy Theater in New York City with Tommaso Riccardi of FLESHGOD Apocalypse.
Hey.
How you doing, man?
Good, very good.
It was June of 2014. We're in the same place, but
yep.
we were over in the stairwell over there.
Yeah. We started from Orlando, and then we did Atlanta, and then
okay.
So but just a few days, we're right at the beginning, and we had 70,000 tons of metal right before starting the tour.
And that's the first thing I want to talk to you about, because
Yeah.
that's a cruise that I haven't been on. I mean, I love cruises and I love metal shows, so it seems like it would be the best time. So what can you say about what it's like on there?
Man, really, I've been told before, because I've never been before this time too. And I talked to a few guys, friends of mine who've been there as fans or people who actually played there, and everybody was like, yeah, you guys have to do that because it's like the craziest experience. And yeah, indeed it was. It's really nice. I mean, I would suggest anybody to go, even just for fun, because it's really, the combination is crazy, and also the fact that it is very relaxed situation indeed, and like bands and fans are like mixed up all the time, so you just go out.
So you could be having dinner next to FLESHGOD Apocalypse as
totally.
a guest?
Yeah, of course. I mean, everybody is like drinking and partying all the time, and it's really nice. It's a nice situation, and obviously a strange situation too. And also one thing that I discovered only when I was there, that is really nice, is the fact that they do this all-star jam.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, a lot of people from different bands playing classics of metal. So in one of the main theaters. So it's been really fun.
Obviously, I'm going to say this. Obviously, you're going to say it, but it's a great album. It really is a great album.
Thank you.
And being a fan of yours in the long term, and seeing the progression of your albums and how the songwriting is going, it's really nice to hear.
It's great. I'm really happy to hear that.
I like particularly that there's a lot more, I guess, like mood and emotion and like atmosphere to it. So it's not always like the onslaught. You have like the quieter parts. There's like even parts with some dialogue. Yeah. Obviously, the Paramore track is a standout track on its own.
I agree. I really agree. I mean, there's many elements that contributed to this, and it is really what we were aiming for. We really wanted to have an album in which dynamic was the main thing, like having something that really brings out all the elements that we have, both in our past music and also obviously doing step forwards, and finding the right balance between the actual elements that we have in our music, but also throughout the whole album having something that really works as a story and brings you into many different atmospheres during that story. And that's why I really believe that it is the most visual album that we have out there. I mean, even not watching the first video clip that obviously was meant to be with that song, but also just listening to the music, it is a really visual music, I believe, and you really feel like if you could imagine the things that you're listening to, and it's something we've been really aiming for, and we're so happy about the result. And of course, in this whole process, also the production has been helping a lot.
So the king, like the king itself, is it a real king? Is it fiction, non-fiction, or is the king a metaphor?
It is a metaphor. As you know, I mean, every FLESHGOD fan knows that we really like to tell stories, and we really like to have different layers there, and not only in the music, also in the concepts. And in this case, the king is not an actual king. It's obviously, historically talking, the whole story is inspired by the Romantic period. So it could be set between the end of the 18th and the first half of the 19th century. But we really cared about the fact that obviously the story had a metaphoric outcome. And in this case, the king is representing what we call the old world. I don't know if that's the right word to say that. We refer to the values and the concrete and very simple things that actually matter in life. So he represents those things that you can recognize also into yourself, that actually are the true things, the things that you really need. While all the other characters represent the many ways in which, especially nowadays in this society and in the historic moment that we're living in, all those things that really sometimes make us get lost and get addicted to a lot of things that we actually don't need. So it is really a representation of something that it seems to happen in this particular moment, and a way also to say we have that king inside ourselves, so it's everybody's choice to be able to choose that king and to be able to choose for what is real, for what is true, for what is important. And that's, of course, in the video clip, for example, the character of the queen is a character that is extremely afraid of getting old. And that's the point. I mean, sometimes we completely get lost into an ideal of perfection and try to control everything, and we don't realize that life is in imperfection, is in the little things that you lose sometimes. So we should maybe be able to let go again and not try to have everything, and just let something go and be more able to choose, because that's the important thing, I think, in this concept. The fact that choosing also means let something go. You know, you cannot have everything. You have to be able to choose, because we get addicted sometimes to the idea that having everything is a way to be happy. Well, it's not true, because it's like a mirage. Mm-hmm. It's like trying to catch the rainbow.
How are you guys going to transition that, you know, from the album to the stage? What are you going to do different this tour versus, you know, the Labyrinth tour?
It is always a challenge, because every time you have to readapt to what you're doing and readapt to the new music, to the new song. So it's always a big challenge to translate everything into the live show. So we're obviously still working on that, because every time we bring new songs, it's like if you have to relearn that from the beginning in a way, because it's not the same when you're like doing that.
Beer? Oh, this is important. It's okay. The beer is here.
That is very important. Thank you.
The wine is coming.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Also very awesome.
Also
maybe even more important.
Yeah, especially for me. Especially for me. Yeah. Michael is already there. Sorry, guys.
Actually, it's like I planned this. My next question, I was going to ask you about the full wine that you guys released.
Yeah.
I saw that you released it. I was going to buy a bottle until I saw what the shipping charges are to ship it to Connecticut.
I know. I know. You know, that's the point. We need to bring this wine on tour, because there's the problem with shipping.
I would have bought a bottle today, absolutely.
Yeah, I know. We are working on that. It is not easy, because it is a very different thing between shipping a little amount.
Oh, so the wine's here.
Okay. Thank you.
I want to sit right back.
Do you know who Donald Trump is?
Yeah.
I was wondering, you know, tell Americans here, what's the international perspective on Donald Trump? What would you say about him?
It looks not good from our side, but I mean, we had Berlusconi for 20 years, so I mean, I think we cannot talk about that. I don't know. I don't want to, you know, judge anybody's taste on politics, but my perspective, like from what we see from Europe, he doesn't look good.
Okay, so my last question, maybe also slightly controversial for you. Have you ever had New York pizza?
Yeah.
They say it's the best in the world, is that true?
Okay, that's no. Okay. I know we have a few minutes, so I will not take too long again. This is the point. Italian pizza and I don't want to say American pizza. Let's say Italian pizza and New York pizza are two things that are so different that it could maybe even be impossible to make an actual comparison.
And I'm Johnny Pluckman with AlternativeControlCT.com. This is Tommaso Riccardi of FLESHGOD Apocalypse, and we're looking forward to watching him rock out tonight.